Have you ever felt like you're just a stepping stone for someone else's goals? It's tough to spot fake relationships, especially when we want to see the best in people. Let's talk about the first major red flag in relationships: selective availability. Ever noticed how some people are always around when they need something but disappear when you need them? It's like they have a sixth sense for when they can benefit from you, but go missing in action the moment you ask for help. This is a classic sign of a one-sided relationship. You might find yourself always being there for them, lending an ear, helping out, or giving your time. But when the tables turn, they're nowhere to be found. Your messages go unanswered, calls are ignored, and sometimes they might even dodge the topic altogether. This imbalance is a clear sign that they see you as a convenience, not a true friend. It's important to recognize this and ask yourself, are you in a fair and balanced relationship, or are you just being used? Understanding this can help you set the right boundaries and ensure you're valued for who you are, not just what you can offer. Lack of genuine personal interest. Moving on to the second signal, let's delve into the lack of genuine personal interest. This is a subtle yet significant red flag. True friends show a real interest in your life, your feelings, and your experiences. They celebrate your successes, empathize with your struggles, and are genuinely involved in your stories. But what if someone in your life doesn't show this kind of interest? Think about it. Does this person ever ask how your day was, or show concern for your well-being? Or do conversations always revolve around them and their needs? When someone's interest in you seems purely functional or opportunistic, it's a warning sign. You might start feeling like you're just a sounding board for their issues or a means to an end. This lack of deep personal engagement shows that they might not value you for who you are, but rather for what you can do for them. It's crucial to recognize this. Relationships should be about mutual sharing and caring. If you find yourself feeling like a background character in their story, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Ask yourself, are you being appreciated as a whole person, or just for the parts that are useful to them? Understanding this can help you seek out and nurture relationships where you're valued for being you. The third signal: emotional manipulation and guilt trips. Let's dive into the third signal, which is both compelling and concerning: emotional manipulation and guilt trips. This is where things get really tricky in relationships. Have you ever felt pressured to say yes to something, even when you wanted to say no? This is often because the other person is playing on your emotions, making you feel guilty for not meeting their demands. They might say things like, "If you really cared about me, you'd do this," or "I've done so much for you, can't you do this one thing for me?" These statements are classic emotional manipulation tactics. What makes this so challenging is that it's often subtle. It's not always easy to spot when someone is using guilt to control you. They might frame their requests as if they're testing your loyalty or friendship. This can leave you feeling confused and questioning your own feelings. Are you being selfish, or are they being unfair? This is the manipulator's goal: to make you doubt yourself and give in to their demands. But here's the thing: healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and free will, not guilt and obligation. If you find yourself constantly being guilt-tripped into doing things, it's a red flag. It's important to recognize this pattern and stand up for yourself. Remember, it's okay to set boundaries and say no. True friends will understand and respect your choices. So next time you feel that familiar pressure, take a step back and ask yourself, are you making a decision out of guilt, or because it's genuinely what you want to do? Breaking free from this cycle of manipulation is crucial for your emotional well-being and for building healthier, more honest relationships. The fourth signal is disrespect and neglect. Next, we need to address a critical red flag in relationships: disrespect, and neglect. This is about how someone treats your time, your plans, and your feelings. Have you ever been stood up or had someone cancel plans last minute without a good reason? Or maybe you've noticed that your needs and preferences are often ignored or overlooked. This behavior is a clear sign of disrespect. Disrespect can be subtle. It might look like someone consistently being late without apologizing or always expecting you to adjust your schedule to suit theirs. It's about feeling like your time and feelings aren't valued. This kind of neglect can make you feel unimportant and taken for granted. It's a one-sided dynamic where you're expected to be flexible and accommodating while the other person isn't. It's important to recognize that everyone makes mistakes and can occasionally be thoughtless. However, when this behavior becomes a consistent pattern, it's a problem. It shows a lack of consideration and respect for you as a person. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. If you find yourself repeatedly on the receiving end of disrespect, it's time to reassess the relationship. Ask yourself, are you being treated as an equal and valued partner, or are you being taken for granted? Standing up against disrespect is not just about asserting your worth. It's about creating the foundation for respectful and caring relationships. The fifth signal is superficial connections. Now let's explore the fifth signal, superficial connections. This is about the depth of your relationship with someone. Do your conversations always stay on the surface, never going deeper into what really matters? A superficial connection can often feel like you're just skimming the top of a much deeper ocean, never diving in to discover what's beneath. In a superficial relationship, you might notice that conversations are limited to general topics or small talk. There's a reluctance to share personal feelings or experiences, and your attempts to deepen the conversation are often met with vague responses or a quick change of subject. This lack of depth can leave you feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. It's like being in a relationship with a shell of a person without ever getting to know the real them. But why is this a red flag? Because meaningful relationships are built on trust, vulnerability, and emotional sharing. If someone is consistently keeping things at a surface level, it might indicate that they're not truly invested in the relationship. They might be there for the fun times or when it's convenient, but not for the deeper, more meaningful aspects of a relationship. It's important to reflect on these connections. Ask yourself, are you satisfied with a relationship that lacks depth, or are you seeking something more meaningful? Recognizing the nature of superficial bonds is the first step toward seeking and cultivating relationships that are rich, deep, and truly fulfilling. The sixth signal is absence in times of need. Moving on to the sixth signal, let's talk about absence in times of need. This is a crucial aspect of any relationship. Think about the times you've faced challenges or hardships. Who was there for you? Who wasn't? A person's absence during your difficult times can speak volumes about their role and intentions in your life. It's easy for someone to be around during the good times, the celebrations, the easygoing moments. But the true test of a relationship often comes during the storms, the periods of struggle, sadness, or stress. If someone consistently disappears when you need support, it's a significant red flag. It shows a lack of commitment and care. For instance, if you're going through a tough time and reach out for support, but they're suddenly too busy, unresponsive, or indifferent, it reveals a lot about their priorities. This absence in crucial moments can be hurtful and disappointing. It's about more than just physical presence. It's about emotional support, understanding, and empathy. When someone is absent during these times, it can feel like a betrayal of trust and friendship. It's important to recognize this pattern and understand what it means for your relationship. Ask yourself, are you in a mutually supportive relationship, or are you there for them more than they are for you? Understanding this dynamic is key to building relationships that are truly supportive and reciprocal. Remember, you deserve to have people in your life who are there for you, not just when it's convenient for them, but especially when you need them the most. The eighth signal is inconsistency and unreliability. Next, let's focus on the eighth signal, inconsistency and unreliability in someone's behavior. This is about how dependable or trustworthy a person is in your relationship. Have you ever dealt with someone who's hot and cold? One day they're your best friend, and the next, they're distant or even cold. This kind of inconsistency can be confusing and frustrating. Inconsistent behavior might look like someone being very attentive and caring for a while, and then suddenly becoming distant or unresponsive without any explanation. It's like you never know where you stand with them. This unpredictability can leave you feeling insecure and unsure about the relationship. You might find yourself constantly wondering what their true feelings are or what you mean to them. Unreliability is another aspect of this signal. It's when someone makes promises they don't keep or fails to follow through on their commitments, whether it's small things like not showing up on time or more significant issues like not being there when they said they would. Unreliability erodes trust. This pattern of inconsistency and unreliability is a red flag because stable, healthy relationships are built on trust and dependability. If someone's behavior is constantly fluctuating, it's hard to feel secure and valued in the relationship. It's important to take a step back and evaluate how this inconsistency is affecting you. Ask yourself, can you rely on this person? Do their actions match their words? Understanding this dynamic can help you make informed decisions about the relationships you choose to invest in. Remember, you deserve to be with someone who is consistent in their actions and words, someone you can trust and rely on. Let's explore the ninth signal, which is self-centered behavior in a relationship. This is about recognizing when someone is overly focused on themselves, their needs, and their desires, often at your expense. It's a situation where the relationship feels more like it's about them rather than a mutual connection. Self-centered behavior can manifest in various ways. It might be someone who always steers the conversation back to themselves, no matter the topic. Or it could be someone who consistently prioritizes their own needs and schedules over yours, expecting you to adapt accordingly. This kind of behavior can leave you feeling like you're just a supporting character in their life story, rather than an equal partner in the relationship. Another aspect of self-centered behavior is a lack of consideration for your feelings and opinions. You might find that your ideas are often dismissed or overlooked, or that your achievements are downplayed. It's as if your contributions to the relationship are secondary to their own. This signal is a red flag because healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding, and the sharing of both the spotlight and responsibilities. If you feel like you're constantly being overshadowed or your needs are being ignored, it's important to address this imbalance. Reflect on how this dynamic makes you feel. Are you being valued and respected, or are you feeling neglected and unimportant? Recognizing self-centered behavior in a relationship is crucial for maintaining your sense of self-worth and ensuring that your needs are also being met. It's about finding a balance where both parties can thrive and feel valued. Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where there's a healthy give and take, and where your presence and contributions are acknowledged and appreciated. Now let's discuss the 10th signal, lack of genuine commitment in a relationship. This is about understanding whether someone is truly invested in the relationship or just there for convenience. Genuine commitment is shown through actions, not just words. It's about being there for each other, making plans together, and building a future that includes both of you. A lack of commitment can often be seen in someone who avoids making plans or is vague about the future. They might be hesitant to define the relationship or reluctant to introduce you to important people in their lives, like family or close friends. This behavior can leave you feeling uncertain about where you stand and where the relationship is heading. Another sign of a lack of commitment is an unwillingness to compromise or make sacrifices. In a committed relationship, both parties are willing to adjust and make concessions for the benefit of the relationship. If you find that you're the only one making efforts or compromises, it might be a sign that the other person isn't as committed as you are. This signal is important because commitment is a cornerstone of any serious long-term relationship. It's about knowing that you're both in it for the long haul and are willing to work through challenges together. If you're experiencing a lack of commitment, it's crucial to communicate your feelings and expectations. Ask yourself, are you both equally invested in this relationship? Are you both planning and building a future together? Understanding the level of commitment in your relationship helps you make informed decisions about your emotional investment. Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where both parties are fully committed and working together towards a shared future. Let's move on to the 11th signal, which is a breakdown in communication. Effective communication is the lifeline of any healthy relationship. It's how we express our needs, share our thoughts, and resolve conflicts. But what happens when communication starts to falter? This is a major red flag that needs attention. A breakdown in communication can manifest in various ways. It might be frequent misunderstandings or an inability to discuss important issues without arguments. Perhaps you find it hard to express your feelings because you're not being heard, or conversations about serious topics are consistently avoided or shut down. Another aspect of this breakdown is the lack of open and honest dialogue. If you're not able to speak freely about your thoughts and feelings, or if the other person is not open to listening, it creates a barrier in the relationship. This can lead to feelings of frustration, loneliness, and disconnect. This signal is critical because communication is the foundation of understanding and connection in a relationship. Without it, it's difficult to build trust, resolve conflicts, and grow together. If you're experiencing a communication breakdown, it's important to address it. Try to create a safe space where both of you can express yourselves openly and respectfully. Reflect on how communication works in your relationship. Is there a healthy exchange of ideas and feelings, or are conversations one-sided or non-existent? Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where communication is clear, open, and constructive. It's through effective communication that relationships deepen and flourish. Moving on to the 12th signal, let's talk about the lack of shared values and interests in a relationship. This is about the common ground that binds people together. Shared values and interests are often the glue that holds a relationship together, providing a basis for mutual understanding, respect, and enjoyment. When there's a significant mismatch in values or interests, it can create a sense of disconnection. For instance, if you value honesty and integrity, but find that the other person frequently bends the truth or behaves unethically, it can lead to feelings of disillusionment and mistrust. Similarly, if your interests and hobbies are vastly different and there's little effort to appreciate or engage in each other's passions, it can feel like you're living parallel lives. The absence of shared values and interests can make it challenging to connect on a deeper level. It's like speaking different languages without trying to learn each other's. This can lead to a lack of meaningful conversations, activities, and experiences that you both genuinely enjoy. This signal is important because shared values and interests contribute significantly to the compatibility and longevity of a relationship. They foster a sense of unity and belonging. If you find that you're struggling to find common ground, it's worth exploring whether this gap can be bridged. Can you find new shared interests? Can you develop a deeper understanding and appreciation of each other's values? Reflect on the core values and interests that are important to you in a relationship. Are they aligned with those of your partner or friend? Remember, while it's normal to have differences, having shared values and interests is key to building a strong, lasting connection. As we conclude our exploration of these signals, it's important to remember that recognizing them in your relationships is the first step towards empowerment. Understanding these red flags helps you make informed decisions about who you allow into your life and how you interact with them. It's about setting boundaries, respecting your worth, and seeking relationships that are healthy, balanced, and fulfilling. Empowerment in relationships means having the courage to face uncomfortable truths, the strength to stand up for yourself, and the wisdom to choose relationships that enrich your life. It involves learning from past experiences and using that knowledge to create better, more respectful connections in the future. Remember, every relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic partnership, or a professional connection, should be based on mutual respect, trust, and support. You deserve to be treated with kindness and consideration, and you have the right to walk away from situations that don't serve your well-being.